You can hear now?
Yes, doctor.
Thank you. Friends, let's move to a very beautiful session once again. मैं समझता हूँ हम सिस्टर शिवानी को जितना भी सुने उतना ही कम लगता है और ऐसा लगता है कि हम उन्हें बार बार सुनते रहें, उनसे हम गाइडेंस लेते रहें. I think there is no other better personality than Sister Shivani to speak about the role of gynecologist in recreating a healthy, happy new world. And she blends the consciousness of science, the consciousness of spirituality, in such a beautiful, lucid way that people from the field of science can also understand. And I'm reminded of a very beautiful quote by Khalil Gibran. He said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of lives longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their soul, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for goes not backward, not tarries with yesterday." And I'm reminded, जो सिस्टर शिवानी ने सुबह के सेशन में कहा, I think what she was trying to say is for all of us that please don't fight with the system, don't change the system, create a new system with a new mindset, with a new consciousness. I request Dr. Surekha Patil ma'am, who is a DNB, DA, MBBS Dean and Professor at DY Patil Medical College. She has been awarded with Stree Puruskar 2017, Jewel of India 2015, Super Achievers Award and Rotary Excellence Award by the Rotary International. I request Dr. Surekha Patil to introduce once again Sister Shivani. Dr. Surekha Patil, ma'am.
Yeah. Om Shanti. Good afternoon to all divine angels. It is a great honor and privilege to introduce a very popular international spiritual leader, Brahma Kumari Shivani Didi. Shivani Didi was born in Pune and completed her postgraduate and undergraduate study in electronic engineer from Pune University. And since childhood, she is blessed with this spiritual knowledge. Didi is a very senior Raj Yoga teacher for over 20 years. And everyone knows how she explains beautifully the application of knowledge of science to understand the existence and the task of God. We all know Brahma Kumari Shivani Didi has become every household name through her Awakening with Brahma Kumari series, which helped to change the lives of many people around the world. And for her great contribution in changing the world, President of India awarded a Nari Shakti Award in 2018. Also, she is a Goodwill Ambassador of World Psychiatric Association. With these few words, I welcome Brahma Kumari Shivani Didi in this series. And with the grace of God, let us we all come together and make the life celebration. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. It's lovely to be together with all those angels who are instrumental in bringing angels into this world. For a large part of the last few decades, most of us have focused on physical health of individuals because that's what is our role. It's definitely our role to take care of the physical health of the individual, to treat the physical health of the individual. But what we are seeing in the last couple of years is there is another epidemic, and that epidemic is a mental health issue. This year, WHO has said mental health will be a priority. We go to schools and colleges and we find children talking more about depression and anxiety attack rather than physical health issues under their health department. Because physical health is something that they know about, they can handle. But when it comes to their emotional health and mental health issues, they're still struggling with it. So we suddenly have a generation who is already experiencing symptoms of depression, panic attack, hyperactivity, anxiety attack in student life. And we've all grown up in a generation which said student life was the best life, it was the most carefree life. But if student life, may I start experiencing these kind of emotions, then it becomes an issue of concern that what's the future of the individual going to be? If a child is going to panic before a school exam or a board exam, life has many more exams for them in store, many situations which might not be our way. In fact, I think last month we were all together on a conference talking about mental health issues in adolescents. And honestly, for me, that was a lot of learning that day that there is so much issue in adolescent age. I was not aware of that. So then all the more important that why Garbhsanskar. In fact, 20th of this month, we are doing a conference with the World Psychiatric Association and the Indian Psychiatric Society. And the whole theme of that conference, it has all psychiatrists only. The theme of that conference is spirituality, religion, and meditation in mental health. And these are all doctors. These are all psychiatrists of the international, from the World Psychiatric Association. And the whole theme is spirituality, religion, and meditation in mental health. So now spirituality cannot be separate from our way of living. So it's important that we as healthcare professionals start connecting the individual, start connecting the expecting couple to the spiritual principles of life, to a spiritual way of living. But for that, we will need to experiment it ourselves. Because when we use the word spirituality, we have a very different picture in our mind. We think, okay, it's someone who's going to change the color of the clothes they wear. They're going to live in a separate place. They're going to eat separate food. And we thought spirituality was all that. Spirituality is not what we wear, where we live. Spirituality is how we think, how we feel, and how we create our emotions and mindset here. And so we can be a leader of a business house, we can be the head of our hospital, we can be a doctor who's seeing hundreds of patients throughout the day, but completely spiritual in our mindset, which you are, because compassion is spirituality. Healing is spirituality. Caring is spirituality. So spirituality is actually deeply integrated with a healthcare professional. But sometimes, while taking care of everybody so selflessly, sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. And then we have stress and anxiety as a part of our life. And कई बार तो it becomes a very natural way to say doctors है ना, life इतनी difficult होती है तो stress तो होगा ही. And especially when it is gynecologist, then तो we don't know कि रात को कितने बजे उठ के भागना है, कितने बजे आना है. Routine is not set. So there are a lot of challenges in life. But that is why spirituality is needed. That the challenge, the timings of the day, all the crisis that's coming is in the outer world. But to energize our inner world, to be able to remain calm and stable while we are facing the crisis of the outer world, that is spiritual power. That is spiritual power. And so, as a healer, that spiritual power needs to be a part of our inner power. This is it. This inner power should have that divine power inside, because then your vibrations which you give, everything that we talk about Garbhsanskar, everything you will be sharing with your patients, and you have always been sharing with them. But suppose you had to tell your couple who comes to you tomorrow, if you get angry, even your child will get affected. And then the couple will look back at you and say, but डॉक्टर साहब कैसी बातें करते हो आप, गुस्सा तो आएगा ही ना, अब इतना कुछ होता है सारा दिन, गुस्सा तो आएगा ही. तो अब डॉक्टर साहब ऊपर से क्या बोलेंगे? डॉक्टर साहब कैसे बोलेंगे कि गुस्सा नहीं करना, अगर डॉक्टर साहब खुद गुस्सा करते हैं से बोलेंगे? तो फिर डॉक्टर साहब बोलेंगे, हाँ मैं समझती हूँ कि गुस्सा नहीं करना आता है, लेकिन आप मत करना. सो वील हैव टू टेल देम कि आप मत करना, क्योंकि आप अभी प्रेग्नेंट हो, मेरा कुछ नहीं है, मैं तो कर सकती हूँ. लेकिन वो कहेंगे, डॉक्टर साहब कैसे रह सकते हैं इस दुनिया में बिना गुस्सा किए? सो यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू कन्विंस देम. You'll be able to tell them, you'll be able to inspire them, but you will not be able to convince them till you experience it in your life. And when you are experiencing it in your life, you just say it to them. And they'll say, Dr. Saab, aise kaise ho sakta hai? And then you're going to say, Bilkul ho sakta hai, because this is a change that I have created in my life. And if I can do it throughout the day and night in a hospital, in situations of crisis, तो आपके जीवन में ऐसी कौन सी crisis है? So if I can do it, you can do it. And when you say it to them, you've already finished all the effort that they have to put in there. For a student, टीचर क्या कहती है वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट होता है. एंड फॉर अ पेशेंट, डॉक्टर क्या कहते हैं सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट होता है. डॉक्टर ने कहा है, डॉक्टर ने कहा है. इट बिकम्स अ वे ऑफ लिविंग बिकॉज डॉक्टर ने कहा है. सो दिस बिकम्स अ ह्यूज मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ अ हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल, because your belief, your way of living is not just yours. It's not just writing your destiny. You have the power to influence thousands of mindsets every year. Thousands and thousands start living their life because of what a doctor says. A doctor says this is right, everybody will start doing it. A doctor next year will say, no, this is not right, this is changed, everybody will change next year. How much power? How much power your noble profession has given you to be able to change the mindset of people in 1 second. One thought. If we talk to patients, आप vegetarian खाइए, आप ऐसे जैसे हाँ हाँ सब ठीक है, but at the end of it what they will say, but हमारे डॉक्टर ने बोला है कि हमारे को प्रोटीन के लिए वो खाना है. So we will spend an hour explaining it to them and they will wash it off in one line by saying लेकिन हमारे डॉक्टर ने बोला है, which we truly agree कि whatever the doctor is saying for the best of the person, but the doctor needs to also experiment with that. Experiment. So, along with what we have studied in science, we also need to experiment it spiritually. And then what will evolve from us will be wellness. That holistic wellness, what we talk about, it has to evolve from our personality. And that will evolve from our personality when we integrate it into our lifestyle. So, at least, if for everybody we say 1 hour, then for you, at least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes of self-care on a daily basis. At least 30 minutes. Because even though you're always surrounded by happy parents, but yet you are in a hospital during the whole day. There's a lot of energy there. There's a lot of vibration there. It does have a depleting effect over a period of time. Many times you are on short of sleep because of anything that you have to wake up to and go in the middle of the night. These all things take a toll on us. It all takes a toll on us. So it's very important that we energize ourselves on a daily basis. And so at least 30 minutes on a daily basis we should have for spiritual study and for meditation. Now gone is the era where we are going to say we don't have time. One thing that the world has learned from COVID, very, very important lesson that came to us from COVID is that yes, there was a situation from outside, but many minds did not have the strength to face that situation. In the first month itself, that is in the end of April, Indian Psychiatric Society said 20% rise in mental health issues in the country in the first month. First month, 20% rise in the issues of mental health cases in the country. These were reported cases. There's going to be a lot which was not reported, which did not come for treatment. So there's been a rise in depression, anxiety attack. There's been a rise in relationship conflict, in domestic violence, in abuse in families during lockdown. There's been a huge rise on the number of phone calls that have been coming to the counseling centers, and there's been a rise in suicide attempts, and we know it all. And so it was a reflection that yes, there came a situation which was not my way, but my mind did not have the strength to cope up with it. So, along with physical health, another element which needs to be a part of our healthcare is emotional health. We have physical health, all specializations. We have mental health as a specialization, but there's no specialization on emotional health. So, emotional health has to be a part of every specialization. And so, emotional health of the person coming to us. And before that, our own emotional health. The healer's vibrations can energize the person. Just meeting you for 5 minutes, somebody can go energized, especially because they get very less time to spend with you to talk to you. But your vibrations can energize them and can silence their mind if you are energizing yourself on a daily basis. It's only then. Garbhsanskar is scientific, but yet it is also based on the spiritual principles of living. The science is there, but the principles are spiritual. The principles are of the unseen energy of thoughts, feelings, vibrations. The science behind it will be the hormones. That's all the science, but the emotional health. So, for emotional health of the patient, I think every doctor will now, out of your 10 minutes that you would get on an average, 10 to 15 minutes with every couple, at least 2 to 3 minutes, you will need to talk about this to every couple. They will need to be told about this from a doctor only, that along with your body, you will need to take care of your mind. With all the do's and don'ts that you give them for these 9 months, what to eat, what not to eat, we'll need to tell them how to think, how to feel, how not to react, how not to get stressed, how not to worry. But we'll have to give that to them with power, because they will say, Doctor Saab, COVID ka time chal raha hai. How not to worry? How not to worry, how not to get anxious. So that has to radiate from our belief system. It has to radiate from our personality. Then it will go to them very, very, very easily. So let's start working together on our emotional quotient. Now, in these 6 months, every corporate house that we were talking to on a conference, on a webinar, everyone said one thing: now we want emotionally intelligent people in our organization. A lot is going to change after this COVID. There's a lot that is going to change. People's priorities are changing. What they are looking for in the other person is changing. So every organization said we want emotionally intelligent people, because we've seen a lot of people collapsing because of this COVID. They cannot become our leaders for tomorrow, is what the organization has to say. And so that emotional intelligence, which they are going to look for when that individual is 25 years old, will have to happen in the womb, will have to happen in the womb, especially because couples are also leading a very different lifestyle now. They are also a part of all the culture right now of society. So it would have to be rubbed in repeatedly, repeatedly. But what you tell them would have to come with your power of experience, your power of conviction, your diet, your lifestyle, your thought process, your emotions, and then one line, and they will take it for a lifetime कि डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा है. Imagine you're having it printed on your prescription. Certain do's and don'ts which are there printed at the back of every prescription sheet कि आप अपने घर में अपने काम पे गुस्सा तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं कर सकते इस 9 महीने के अंदर. गुस्सा करना ना आपके मन के लिए ठीक है, ना आपके शरीर के लिए ठीक है, ना उस बेबी के शरीर के लिए ठीक है. If they have this line coming from you, 50% of their anger will finish then and there that day. Because this is the only time when a person is ready to do anything. If you tell them tomorrow or anger is not good for you, they'll think and they'll say, हाँ, but बहुत मुश्किल है. But you tell them anger is not good for your baby, they'll finish it right away. They'll finish it right away. They will finish 50% of it right away when you tell them. So like you tell them, don't eat this, don't drink coffee, don't get angry, don't react. And if the family comes to you, the in-laws are coming to you, the spouse is coming to you, your one line to them is going to change the way they're going to behave with the lady of the house. It's going to create a shift. It might not happen instantly, but it's going to start. There is a consciousness change that will need to start in society. If we tell them about screen time, we've all seen enough children around us who are having a tough time with screen addiction. Screen addiction is something that is coming natural to them, but it came because of screen addiction of their parents. We know, and you know more than me, that a lot of mothers are also using screens when they are feeding their baby. When they're feeding their baby, they are using screens. They have phone in their hand and they're feeding their baby. What is the energy that's going to go to the child? What's the energy that's going to go to the child? Because the mother is engaged in a completely different thought process across the screen. Then, a year later, for the mother to say कि मेरा बच्चा फोन के टीवी के बिना खाना ही नहीं खाता है is a natural thing to happen. It's a natural thing to happen. क्योंकि हम उस समय उसको खाना तो फोन के साथ ही खिला रहे थे, खाते खिला रहे थे, तो उसको वो जीवन भर की आदत पड़ जाएगी. But all this, if it starts coming from you, they will drop it off immediately. They will just drop it off immediately. These are very, very small things, but their effects are multifold. Effects are multifold. Distracted eating is the cause of obesity. Distracted eating is a cause of hyperactivity. Mind gets very hyper when I'm looking at violence, a cartoon show, someone's fighting is what I'm consuming. And I'm eating at that time. So my mind will also be in that turbulent state. But this would have to be told to them. So let's start having at least 30 minutes for ourselves on a daily basis. Meditation to energize ourselves, spiritual principles as a way of living and a way of working. There is healing energy in the hospital, but now there also needs to be divine energy in the hospital. So there is healing energy. It radiates in every individual, right from the person who's there at a gate of a hospital to the senior most person. Healing energy just radiates unconditionally. Now we also need divine energy in a hospital. So once you are practicing it, automatically the people coming into your energy circle, those who are assisting you, those who are working around you, it will have a ripple effect. And this is going to change the vibration of that healing center. And then when someone comes to you and you say something to them, the vibration will be there to convince them that this way of living works, because they will feel it in the energy of the hospital. So the hospital will be more like a temple, a high vibrational place where you go and instantly you have peace here. कहते हैं ना, मंदिर गए, गुरुद्वारे गए, मस्जिद गए, चर्च गए, सुकून महसूस हुआ. बट वहां भी तो हम लोग ही जाते हैं सारे, कोई अलग लोग तो जाते नहीं हैं, हम लोग ही वहां जाते हैं. Who creates the vibration of those places? We create. We can create it any के लिए सब कुछ बाहर कर दिया. So we were taking the equation wrong. If the equation goes wrong, we'll never get the result. We'll never get the result. So the equation is sanskar se sansar. So person more important than performance. Sanskar more important than achievement. This is a mindset. If it starts changing from the time the child is going to be born, then Satyug is very, very close by. Then it's very, very near, because Satyug means sanskar. Kalyug end has become, don't talk about, people don't ask how they earned. They will say, how much are you earning? Doesn't matter what was your way of earning, but how much are you earning? Where have you reached? Doesn't matter how happy you are while moving on the journey of, so priority completely reversed. So this is all that we understand with spiritual principles and meditation, and of course a sattvic lifestyle. Our eating and drinking habits really, really need a shift. Really need a shift. What I've seen in the last couple of years, which is such a refreshing change, is to see doctors coming out openly and talking about it, talking about the benefits of vegetarianism. In fact, last month we did a 3-hour program for television, which was You Are What You Eat, Jaisa An Vaisa Man. And we had cardiologists, and we had oncologists, and we had gynecologists, and they came and they openly talked on national television that vegetarian is more healthy. And they talked about how heart issues, diabetes, and certain kinds of cancers are more with an animal-based diet. And many of them said that the longevity of a person is more with the plant-based diet. So this is a beautiful shift. When the scientific community is going to come out and start saying that the plant-based diet is healthy, many people are just waiting to listen to it from the doctors, because they say, to the doctor bolte hai lekin. Once the doctor says it, then they have no excuse left. Then there's only one excuse, mujhe tasty lagta hai. Baki to sare excuse khatam ho jayenge. So thank you so much for starting to bring that out in the open. It really needs to be talked about more. Really needs to be talked about more, that vegetarian is healthy. Vegetarian is healthy for expecting mothers. Vegetarian is healthy for that child. So then they will be giving that baby high energy food, high vibrational food, not food which is vibrations of pain and death of another animal. Cannot. There is energy of suffering in that food. So thank you so much for coming out and openly talking about it. Even though earlier we must have said something else, now we are understanding it, experiencing it, and are ready to talk about it openly. So thank you so much for doing that. And I'm sure together, as Foxy has always been together, talking about Adbhut Matritva, Garbhsanskar, it's just the beginning. There's a lot more to happen, lot more that we have to reach, and most important, together, we have to create Satyug on this planet. That's definite. The world just does not want to continue this way. They say, ab bas ye duniya ka kya karna hai? To duniya ko to badalna hi hai. And that's why you have the power. You really have the power. It's from you there that the world can change, because the generation is starting from you. Thank you so much for the miracles you create. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Shivani, for that beautiful talk. You reminded us that doctors have the power. You reminded us that we can influence our patients in a better way. And at the same time, you reminded us that we are next to God. We are like God. And if we can have all the qualities like God, the kind of influence we can create would be tremendous. Now I request Sister Shivani, आप और हमारे Alpesh Gandhi, President Foxy 2020, to release the souvenir and the title song for this particular program.
खुशहाल माता और बालक का दिव्य निर्माण, गर्भ संस्कार, गर्भ संस्कार, गर्भ संस्कार, डिवाइन गर्भ संस्कार, डिवाइन गर्भ
contest just a souvenir copy. दीदी आप रिलीज का डॉक्टर अल्पेश गांधी एंड दीदी आप रिलीज का अनाउंस कर दीजिए. आप कुछ इसके बारे में कहिए दीदी.
Om Shanti. I personally feel today whom to give the credit for this. Ki Paramatma ki prerna se, it's definitely an inspiration from the divine. But I think it's also the vibration of these souls who are coming now. They're very, very special children who are coming. So actually, it's also they who have invoked this program to happen, because even while they are in the womb, they want to start their preparation right now. So it's a collective consciousness of many, many people together, inspiration from God, pure intention for all the doctors, the healthcare professionals, the intent of the parents who were going through a lot of fear and anxiety, especially because this was happening during COVID times. There was another thought process going on there. But it's the purity of those souls in the womb who have invited this program into the life. And I'm sure it's going to change a lot of destinies, not just the destiny of the child, but also the destiny of the family where those children are coming. So it's going to be a magical experience for everybody. That's certain. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
आने वाली पीढ़ी को देंगे नया आकार, देंगे नया आकार. स्वस्थ खुशहाल माता और बालक का दिव्य निर्माण. गर्भ संस्कार, गर्भ संस्कार, गर्भ संस्कार. डिवाइन गर्भ संस्कार, डिवाइन गर्भ संस्कार, डिवाइन गर्भ संस्कार.
To watch Divine Garbhsanskar channel on YouTube, subscribers on youtube.com/Divine Garbhsanskar. Just a claim for healthy, happy mother and baby.